Good afternoon slash morning, everyone. It's our final day with Erica, like on the Brady Bunch. Like she's down there for me, but she might be up there, so who knows? But for Erica and Dr. Erica Karlinsky and Bob O'Brien, and Surviving Life with a Narcissist, day 4. It has been a fun 4 days, huh, Erica?
It has. It has. This was our first webinar in a series of many really exciting ones coming up.
Yes.
And yeah, I feel really good about this. It's been good. I really appreciated our viewers' questions and comments. And
Yes.
so all of our viewers, we want to encourage you to like us on social media. What are
Share
the
us.
like, share, follow, whatever you could do.
And we're always interested in improving. So comment.
Yes,
Comment. Let us know how we can make this better and more meaningful, not just from a topic perspective, but how we present it perspective as well.
yes, yes. And we have really exciting webinars coming up that are going to be done by not just Bob and me, but our other therapists who are experts in a lot of other different areas. And they're working hard on those presentations, and I think everybody's going to really enjoy them.
Yes, I would agree. So to start out today, we're going to kind of do a little recap. A recap of day 1 was we went over the various types of narcissists. So let's start off with a little quiz to make sure all of our folks are wide awake on Tuesday morning. Does anybody remember the 4 types of narcissist? I'm guessing no. Okay, so
Wait, no. So it looks like Joan. Okay, so
oh,
yes, Joan said overt, grandiose, correct and
yes,
correct.
yes,
Yep. Covert, excellent,
yep. That's 2 because overt and grandiose are the same.
correct. Come on.
Who else do we have?
My favorite one. My favorite one. The
Remember the mom? That's the homeroom mom,
the
the class.
mom the moms who just happened to be chosen by lottery to go on every field trip. Communal,
Yes,
the communal
communal
narcissist. Yep.
and antagonistic.
Yes.
Those movie villains, right? Okay. So that was day 1. We talked about the 4 different types. Day 2, we kind of dove into the impact that being with a narcissist can have on a person.
Self-worth, self-esteem, sorry.
Yes. No. Go ahead.
Self-worth, self-esteem,
Yes.
just our emotional makeup, our
Absolutely.
coping skills, our defense, so much of who we are, emotionally, mentally, even physically, like just completely feels like it's fallen apart, and um in a really in a big way, in a different way than you know than the fallout from other types of relationships.
Yes. And then day 3, we dove a little bit more into how to heal.
Yes.
And so, many ways in how to move forward with the healing of being with a narcissist, including taking that time to yourself, taking that time to understand the impact that that relationship has had on you, to understand the changes that has made from you or onto you. And one of our favorite subjects is, am I being triggered? Or is it a red flag? And we even
Yeah.
had a little game show that went with it. So, which we want to thank everybody for participating in. It was a lot of fun, and I hope that it helped everyone out. So now, as we go on to day 4, we're going to talk about, where's my clicker? There we go. New relationships and the fear of healthy relationships that come with it. So yesterday, when we talked about triggers, red flags, and the day before when we were talking about getting out of the relationship, we talked about how many times, a lot of folks that we have seen in the past will come to us, and they've been through their relationship. They've extracted themselves from it. They've began to move on, and they get into a new relationship, and all of a sudden they're seeing red flags everywhere, right? But they're not. They're being triggered, and some of those relationships that might have been healthy, that might have been good, didn't last because there was too many red flags, quote unquote. So now it's time to talk about what that is. So that's a fear of healthy relationship, because we don't know, right? The first bullet point there says it all: discomfort in the unfamiliar. So depending on how long you've been in that relationship, when you go to a healthy relationship, it feels weird. And people aren't big fans of change. I know that's a surprise to many of you, but people don't like change. So when we feel, I think one of the things, it says, am I needed? Am I valued? Am I wanted? With an extra space there that we have to correct. This is how it's supposed to be. We have all of those questions, right? And we might feel, because we're not getting the kind of attention early on, or we're not seeing that we're pleasing the person early on as a codependent, and we did with our narcissist, we might feel that it's not that great of a relationship, right, Air?
Yes, but I'm going to say that it's also just the way that we feel in the body. So physiologically, we feel different in a healthy relationship, and sometimes that can feel boring. So it can feel like we're yearning for some kind of even some kind of conflict or some kind of excitement somewhere, because the relationship with the narcissist is pretty chaotic. Right? So like it says here, it requires energy. It requires energy to keep them happy. And remember, we said in the beginning of that relationship, when we want to make them happy and we are making them happy and they are happy, it's really rewarding. So it works really well. But then in a healthy relationship, when it turns out that we don't have to work so hard, it can feel uncomfortable. And we start to doubt ourselves about, why does this feel uncomfortable? This is good. But good doesn't always mean chaotic. Good
Yes.
doesn't always mean problematic, right?
Yeah.
So the cycle, right? The up and down of the chaotic relationship is pretty exciting. Right? So a lot of people who've been in a relationship with a narcissist will feel uncomfortable, and many times they will stir the pot just to get that going. And
Yes.
whereas their partner is going to look at them, will start to look at them and say, what are you doing? We had no problem. What are you doing? You're picking at this and picking at that. And no, I wasn't upset with you. What's going on? This is
Yeah.
many times what's going on. And also, not only does it require a lot of energy to keep the narcissist happy, but remember, we talked about protecting the narcissist's behavior from other people, from friends and family, and that requires energy as well.
Yeah. So when you're not using all of that energy in a relationship, it feels like maybe it's just not as good, or it's not as purposeful, I guess, because it seems too easy.
Right.
So there's that uncomfortableness with it. If you think back to some of the examples we did yesterday during the game show, right? They're the ones that were the triggers, were things that people easily could have reacted. The one where the guy, I think we called him Jim, where Jim's new girlfriend, when he had his exchange with his college friend, where she kept interjecting for herself, right? That easily would be one of those things that could turn into an argument after the fact with a narcissist, and would probably even do so just because you were triggered for that. So you could have easily had that kind of reaction as well. So there's a lot of that happens with it too.
Yes.
We have let's see. Gail Deb from Key West, Erica. That's the furthest southern point.
It is.
When you're in a new healthy relationship, that's so easy. You're almost waiting for the other shoe to drop. So she's saying there's a level of anxiety, I guess, that comes with that, where okay, it's just he's really good at hiding it. It's just gonna
Mhm.
fall on me, right, Gail Deb? That shoe is gonna fall. That's what you're feeling.
Yeah, I mean, Gail, you're spot on. A lot of people feel that. And again, it's that discomfort in the body. So you feel emotionally, you feel uncomfortable, but logically, you know that this person, your new partner, hasn't given you any reason to be afraid or to expect the other shoe to drop. But being in a relationship with a narcissist, that's just the pattern, and we get used to it. And the anticipation of the other shoe dropping just becomes a normal, natural way of being.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Erica, and this comes from Kate from Columbus, which kind of rhymes, or at least a little alliteration there. So how do we um work through that anxiety in that relationship then?
Communication, which we've been talking about, telling a
Mhm.
new partner, this is the relationship that I came from. And of course, people, you don't have to dump every detail of every incident with your previous relationship on a new partner right away. Okay, you can take your time. Okay, just because you're getting close to somebody and trusting them and they're trusting you doesn't mean that you have to vomit all of the ugliness and the darkness of the last relationship right away. So that being said, communicating and saying, okay, I was involved with a narcissist and this was the pattern. This is the pattern that I'm used to. I'm just not used to actually being content and something bad not happening. So this is what's happening for me. And if you are in a
And
healthy relationship, they're going to listen and they're going to have compassion. And if they don't know what that's like, maybe they'll read about it. Maybe they'll read about narcissism. Maybe they'll say, okay, tell me more,
but
because I want to know.
one of the things, and I think we touched on this on day one or day two. One of the things that's absolutely key is to not try to get your new relationship, your new partner, to try to make that feel better or change their behavior, because that's not their responsibility, right? It's your anxiety, it's your thing to overcome. You can definitely get support from them. You can tell them what you're feeling, but don't try to put that anxiety and that all of that onto them. Hang that on their shoulders. So it's a balancing act, right? It's a tightrope.
Telling them that that's what you're feeling and that's what you're experiencing is great and very, very valuable.
Yes.
But letting them know that they are not responsible for your healing.
Yes.
You are responsible for your healing. You are the only one that's responsible. So
Any questions on the fear of healthy relationships? Okay, so unfortunately, we don't have this form in a slide, but we will add it to the document we send out at the end of the end of today, after today's session. But we're going to talk a little bit about the kind of the glossary, right? The key terms that comes around from narcissism. We've used some of these during the course of the week, and it kind of dawned on us yesterday that maybe we should go through, give a little definition so that people are aware and understand what they are. So we could also do this in the form of a little game show. So who wants to take a stab at gaslighting?
well, we already talked about that, so that should be an easy one, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, no one, no one.
Bueller?
Yes.
Okay, we got a couple. Let's see. Making you think you're crazy. In a nutshell, yes, it's when they try to make you doubt your own sense of reality, or doubt your memory, or doubt what's happening. They're trying to literally make you think that there's something wrong with you and not them, that you're the one that's off balance, that you're the one that has the problem, not them. Very good. That's Key West again. I'm surprised that, we're catching you before happy hour in Key West, which is great. The next one is love bombing.
Ooh, we got a
Love bombing.
comment from
Oh,
Samantha in Skagway. Wow, that's a long way.
Skagway.
Yeah, Alaska.
It is early out there. Samantha in Skagway just said that she would marry me tomorrow. I don't know if that's good or not. I don't think she meant me. No, that's love bombing. Love bombing is overwhelming, right? With affection, attention, usually in the early stage of the relationship. Just adoration, just, oh my goodness, showering with presents or praise or whatever they feel that you need to make you feel good.
It's
It could,
when that person is too good to be true.
yes.
And what happens over time with someone who is a love bomber, a narcissist who uses love bombing, is after a period of time when they've hooked you in, they all of a sudden they don't like to hike anymore, and they don't like the beach anymore, and they are not interested in, and they don't like your friends, and this person who again was too good to be true is now like making you feel like you did something wrong.
Yes.
So they've changed, they're not being as attentive, they're not being as loving. And if they're a true blue narcissist, they're going to turn it around and
So
make
love
you
bombing
feel,
and the gaslighting.
yes, and then make you feel that, yes, it is you. It is you. And make you doubt what you saw and got from them in the first place.
So one of my favorite terms, and this is a relatively new one for me, flying monkeys. So if you remember being a kid watching The Wizard of Oz when it was on CBS, if you're of a certain age, or ABC, whatever it was, and my older sister used to hide behind the couch when the flying monkeys would come on. So Erica, why don't you go ahead and explain this one?
So who is that? Paulina said, beware of their friends and family. And I think, Paulina, what you mean by that is that the narcissist friends and family are their flying monkeys, right? Because okay, thank you. Yes, that is what she means. So these are the people who enable the narcissist behavior. So they will talk to their friends and family about you and paint you in, a crazy light, a negative light, whatever it takes. And so their friends and family are going to be looking out for them. So then at the end of a relationship, if you try to break away, then we talked a bit the other day about the smear campaign that can happen. And the smear campaign is the flying monkeys are involved in smear campaigns. The flying monkeys will post things for your narcissist. If you've blocked them and they can't follow you, they'll follow you for them so that they can give them information about you. They'll post it. They'll do whatever many times what the narcissist asks because they believe that they've been wronged.
Yes.
Right.
I love that term.
It's scary. It is scary.
So the next term is also there's a few new terms that I've learned. This one I haven't heard it referred as this, but hoovering. At first I thought it was hovering, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. But hoovering is after the relationship's over, the narcissist will try to suck you back in some way, shape, or form, either I need I realized that I left something in the home when I moved out a month ago. I need to come back and get it. And oh my gosh, don't you look great? Or little emotional things to try to get you sucked back in. You know, before we broke up, that necklace that you loved, I was going to get it for you as a surprise. And even though we're not together anymore, I still want you to have it. So let's go and I'll buy it for you. Right? They're trying to suck you back in. Every time you think you're out, they suck you back in. For those of you that remember The Godfather or The Sopranos, right?
One of
They
our,
trying to do
sorry,
that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I interrupted the
My
whole.
great Silvio Dante doing
I'm,
doing Al Pacino. Thanks. That's okay.
I'm really sorry.
It's
Okay.
okay.
Um, one of our viewers yesterday commented after we weren't recording anymore, webinar was over. She commented that regarding hoovering, that many times they'll go so far as to say, I was going to ask you to marry me.
Yes.
This is, I'm in so much pain because I had, the weekend planned, or something that you've been wanting, that they know you've been wanting.
Yes.
They know that this is, you've been wanting, craving, longing for, and maybe the narcissist was never interested in, and then they'll drop it. So it's a more extreme love bombing, right?
Yeah.
Because love bombing in the beginning is all happy, and they're just going with, they kind of let you lead, right? But hoovering is all of a sudden becoming everything that you have been wanting them to be for so long. Sometimes, for a few months, sometimes for many years. Oh yes, thank you so much, Michelle. She said that the narcissist will say, yes, I'll go to therapy with you.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, if you take me back, we'll go to therapy. We'll do couples therapy, or I'll go to therapy because you're right. And they always want to fall on that sword. You're right. I've changed. I've done so much work on myself already in the past 3 weeks. Right.
And how often, Bob, do we have couples who come in,
Yeah.
right? And after 2 sessions, the narcissist isn't showing up anymore.
Yep. We're
Yep.
fixed. I'm fixed. You
Yep.
did it. You are brilliant. Yes.
And it happens, I could think of so many couples where they go through the cycle,
Yeah.
and they'll both come in for therapy, and we'll do 2 hours, and then the next week we'll do another 2 hours, and then it falls off, and he or she is not coming anymore, and then I'm seeing just the victim, right? um for for a few months, and then the I say victim, the other person in the relationship, not the narcissist, will will get strong, right? Because they've been in therapy. They'll get strong, they start to see things, logically. They are starting to understand their own behaviors and their patterns. And so the narcissist, um, the partner doesn't even have to actually end the relationship. The narcissist feels things changing. The narcissist will sense, oh, she's getting strong or he's getting strong. Okay, so I need to step it up. And so then they'll turn around and say, I want to go with you. I want to
Hmm.
go to therapy, right? And so this will go back and forth,
Yeah.
up and down. And coming for couples therapy, you know, typically goes this way when there's a narcissist involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, the next one is a response to hoovering, and I'm curious if you know this one, Erica. Going gray rock.
I do.
You do? Oh my gosh, you know them all. Look at you. So going gray rock is you and any interactions you have after with the narcissist when they're trying to be that Hoover, that vacuum cleaner, right? Is to just be as unemotional, neutral, flat, boring as possible. Don't say too many words. Don't give any insight into emotion. Don't, if you can just text and be bland, text and be bland, which I'm sure you're going to receive a text back from them. Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
I remember a woman that I had several years ago that she had broken up. What was the cycle was he would leave and then he would come back after 2 weeks. I'm fixed. I'm better. I'm good. And this went back and forth. Finally, she could see the signs. He started, pulling away, and she said, you know what? You just need to go and we're done. And so he moved out. Everything's good. They don't see each other for a month. He shows up at her church. She comes in for the early service, sees him as she's walking in, sees him sitting there. She leaves. She goes back to the later service, and now he's sitting somewhere else. So he stayed through 2 services just to see her. And she didn't see him the second time. So she goes in, and the next thing you know, she said halfway through the service, she felt a hand on her shoulder and turned around, and it was him.
Really?
And then he started texting her that day nonstop, right? And she went gray rock on him. Are you okay? I'm fine. I just am very introspective this weekend. I don't want to really chat. He made a few phone calls, no answers. Are you sure you're okay? You're not answering my calls. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm being very introspective this week. Then she gets texts from her brother and her sister and her mom later that night. Why is this person reaching out to me? I thought you guys broke up. And so what he did was he texted all of them and said, oh, when I was in church with so-and-so today, she seemed a little off. Can you tell me if they're okay? Or can you check on her for me? So trying to turn them into flying monkeys. It was a pretty intense. Yeah. So they will do it. So as bland as you can possibly be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gail from Key West said, yes.
Ignore them.
For them, it's scary.
Yes.
And ignoring doesn't feel like it's going to work. But it really does. And the problem is the narcissist is so good at what they do that you can ignore, but then they do or say the one thing that you just lose it, right? And so you get angry, or you send an email, keep it formal, you need to stop. And they're happy. They got what they wanted. They wore you down. So if you go gray rock, you have to stay gray rock. Right?
Yeah, that's right. So what other terms do you have? Do you have any other terms?
Oh, those are the best. Those are the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The ones that the only other ones that I can think of right now are when when it's not so much I guess it's more about the narcissist that you're with. Were they the golden child or were they the scapegoat? So that's the thing. When they were growing up, like, how did their parents treat them? Because we talked about that on day one, as far as how narcissists come about and are evolved. And a lot of times they're either that golden child where they cannot do anything wrong, right? They'll just put up on that pedestal, or they're the scapegoat in which everything's blamed on them.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to add one thing, Bob,
yes.
and that is about the narcissist in therapy. So I want to add to that pattern that we see of narcissists coming to couples therapy. So many times when they come back, so I'll see a couple, and let's just say that that the boyfriend is the narcissist, for example. And so I'll see them a few times, and then he's not able to, to come for whatever reason. So I keep seeing her. And then he will come back. I'll see them a couple times. Then I see her. And then they break up. So I really don't see him. So I don't see him for a couple months. I'm working with her. Then he'll come back, see me, and then he'll tell her, you know what, I don't feel comfortable working with Dr. Karlinsky anymore because she knows you really well. I'm going to get my own therapist.
Yes.
Or I want to see someone different. And that typically happens because now I've gotten to know them and I'm calling them on their crap.
Yep.
They don't like it. So they want their own therapist, which is great. And I recommend that for anybody. So they get their own therapist that they can charm, right? And they can paint their partner in the bad light.
Yes.
And then they want to start with someone new so that they can start the whole thing all over again and feel empowered.
Yeah, they can, and that way they control the narrative.
Yep.
One of the things that we do, Erica, which I think is very helpful, is for a lot of couples that come into our practice, is we split them up to begin with. And it's not just in case one of them's a narcissist, but it works well, and it works well, especially if they're a narcissist, where I will see one person, you'll see the other, and then together we see them both.
Yep.
So that's a it's different, it's unique. I'm not really unique, but I'm sure that there's not a lot of folks that are out there doing it, but it really does seem to be effective and help us get to the root of a lot of the issues a lot quicker.
Yeah, it really does. And we don't, those, just for our viewers to know, we don't go into those sessions where it's like, two against two. I'm not advocating for one or the other. We're
Yes.
both advocating for the couple. And
Yes.
so I'll call one out, Bob will call the other out, we'll call our own clients out.
Yeah.
We'll challenge everybody. Sometimes when we've been seeing a couple for quite a while and it's been a long time since we've seen them individually, I don't even feel like that's my individual client anymore.
Absolutely.
I really feel that the couple is our client.
Yeah, I
Yep.
agree. Any questions on the narcissism or vocabulary or mini dictionary? We give slang terms, whatever you want to call it. Anything that you guys know that we did not bring up?
If anything comes to mind, please let us know. Please reach out to us on social media. So we are on Instagram and Facebook
And TikTok.
and TikTok, Institute of Self.
Yes.
And you'll see our logo, that little owl there. You'll know that that's us. You're in the right place. Ask us any questions, send us feedback, honest feedback. We can take it.
So there are just closing thoughts, conclusions. So there are many ways that relationships with narcissists can impact our lives, right? So we've really just scratched the surface here. I mean, we could probably, Eric and I don't know, we could probably talk for a week straight on the subject and barely hit all of the things that we need to hit. So hopefully this gives you a basic understanding that every relationship with a narcissist is unique. So what we would urge you to do if you find that you are, bless you, if we find that you are in a relationship with a narcissist, is to contact a mental health professional in your area that can help you understand your situation and help you navigate that experience. Make sure that when you're interviewing your therapist, what we recommend that you do, you are finding somebody that you connect with and somebody that has experience working with narcissistic abuse survivors or victims, however you want to prefer to call yourselves. Again, for more in-depth information, understanding on who we are, Institute of Self, subscribe to our emails on our website, www.instituteofself.com. We'll send you out updates to our webinar schedule. You can go there and see our webinar. You can just go there to look at our cute little owl, whatever you'd like to do. But I just want to thank everyone for joining us and being part of this these 4 days.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Erica.
It was a pleasure.
And we will see you all soon.
See you soon. Bye.